Hey. So I'm sharing my experience in becoming a data analyst because I know that it's one of those career paths out there that no one really talks about. No one tells their mom and dad, I want to grow up and become a data analyst someday. That's just not on the table of career choices when you're a kid. So I wanted to at least give some exposure to how I got into this career path and to see if you're interested in it and give you some hopeful tips to eventually get to where you want to be someday. So, my background is in accounting, and I have a lot of friends and classmates who went on to become CPAs, who are senior auditors. And while that's excellent for them, that was not the life path for me. I did not want to do more schooling after I finished my bachelor's. I was done. So done. And I was trying to create some value out of it, so I went into doing finance as an intern in accounts receivable. I was working 52-hour weeks. I was working as a food runner in fine dining and also as an intern. So doing the 52-hour weeks plus going to school full time, it was rough. Um, but coming out on the other end of it, everything was worth it. That finance internship turned into a salaried position for finance analyst. And as a financial analyst, I got to work with incredible brands like Miller Coors and White Claw because where I had chosen to intern at was an alcohol distributorship. Super fun. So, um, so I went from intern to financial analyst, and then they were going through a system integration into SAP. I got really into it, and it's where I discovered my love for systems, processes, combined with finance. So I wasn't 100% as into the finance realm as a lot of my peers were. I really liked the way that data was structured. So I started to pursue data analytics a little bit more than financial analytics. And I found a role for myself at the same company. I moved into that, and while it was a great learning experience, while I had a ton of fun, I got to go eat at a luncheon at the Raiders Stadium. I got to go paddleboarding on a White Claw paddleboard that I was gifted. It's been an incredible experience, but I eventually was offered a role by a project manager to work at a software company as a data analyst and as a projects analyst, and that was really exciting for me because finance was a little too repetitive. Projects I've always had an interest in because it's constantly new, it's changing, it's testing, it's an environment where everything can be brainstormed and you're not really it's a very teamwork environment. So if I was to summarize the lessons from my entire experience, if you're trying to eventually become a data analyst or you're trying to learn to become a better data analyst than me, more power to you. So my first tip would be to attend all of the irrelevant meetings. A lot of times we're being told that we have too many meetings, they're wasting our time. I get it. But if you can sit in through more of those irrelevant meetings while getting your regular work done, sit in through those meetings and just listen. Listen to the complaints that the other departments are having. And over time, you start to realize how all of those other issues still tie in to your processes and exactly what you're going through. And if you're an analyst, you have to have a mindset to view a company as a whole enterprise. You have to see how everything flows and fits together. Because you're going to be asked a lot of questions about things you don't know, about processes that you've never touched. But it's kind of your job to become the know-all or be the person who can find the answers. And when you're sitting in those irrelevant meetings, you're going to be hearing all of their problems, how they tie into yours, and ultimately, if you're able to identify solutions to their problems, if you're able to contribute information that you found that maybe no one else looked at before, more information is better. So you might be able to solve someone's problem. You might be able to get more information to solve your own problem. But either way, it's just excellent to sit in through those irrelevant meetings. Tip number 2 would be to find mentors. A mentor can only take you so far. You can have a lifelong mentor, but a lot of times, especially in your career, each mentor that you meet, everyone that you talk to, they've had their own process and own experiences and their own mentors to get them to where they are today. So when you're looking for those mentors, listen to them, recognize what they wish that they had done differently in their career paths, listen to the things that they're saying are valuable now. Like I had a I worked with someone from Bacardi, and he told me to pay attention to revenue management because as more and more time would go on, as business intelligence develops for companies, revenue management is going to become a focal point for them. He gave me that piece of advice. So as I started to go into interviews, having done some research on revenue management, it gave me a little bit of a backbone to talk to them in their language about the things that the interviewer cared about. So pay attention to your mentors, see what they're listening into, and they're not all going to be right, but the more that you can learn from everyone around you, the better off you're going to be. 3 is your resources as an analyst. You have to be able to create your own resources. So if you don't know something, yeah, there's always the option that you can ask, and you should never be embarrassed to ask, because especially in analytics and in project work, everything's a team effort. You need to communicate, and the more information that you get, the more complete and accurate, concise the entire project's going to be. So when you need a question answered or you don't understand something, schedule a meeting with someone from that department, or schedule a meeting with someone that you can sit down and talk to and just brainstorm with, ask your questions, get some more information, and work from there. The other thing is that if there's any softwares out there, if there's an Excel formula that you don't know, there's a lot of great forums that exist out there. I love the LinkedIn Excel forums. I'm constantly just scrolling through and finding a new shortcut to do the same process in a totally different way. But just constantly have an awareness that there's other efficiencies out there, and you have to be creating the resources for yourself, because some companies you can walk in as an analyst and there will be people who you can rely on and ask infinite questions to, who can teach you the exact process you need to know. But in other ways, if you really want to hit that next level, you have to tread into the areas of doing the things that no one has answers to, in creating the processes to things that no one's done before, or, no one's thought about. So that's how you start to create your own value, is as you start to build your skill set. On top of building your skill set, you're also building your critical thinking in order to drive their business, in order to drive better metrics for them to look at. So it just comes with experience. And I know that I'm not 100% there yet, but you have to have that confidence in yourself, which is, I'm going to make that lesson number 4, is have that confidence in yourself that sometimes, yeah, you're going to get up there, you're going to explain some numbers, and it's still going to be wrong. You're going to be wrong sometimes, but just because you got it wrong, it's not like you're getting an F on a test. It's not real life like that. You're not going to get failed. You're not going to get fired over one wrong answer, over one wrong number. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. So have confidence that even if you don't know something, you can find the answer. If your number is wrong, don't worry, I'll correct it, and I'll meet up with you again. I'll bring the report back to you with the corrections. It's not a big deal. Tip number 5 that I would give, and this is my favorite one, is data analyst. It's not just a desk job. And as much as analyst, anything with analyst around it sounds like a desk job, any job is what you make it. So while I was a data analyst at the distributor, I was still able to go to Raiders football games. I went to a Guns N' Roses concert. I go paddleboarding because I have a White Claw paddleboard. And your skill set is what will allow you to have access. And that access to the right employers, to whatever you're really pursuing in life, there is so many things that go beyond the desk. You know what I'm saying? It's like the value of your work extends beyond just what you're doing in Excel, just beyond what you're presenting. It's those interactions that you're having with people. It's being able to help people with their jobs because they don't have the same skill set that you do. And I find a lot of joy to be able to help people when they don't know something and I can give them an answer. That makes me feel pretty good. So there's a lot of great benefits that come out of choosing the path of like a data analyst. I got to the point where I could be remote, and I love that. I get to focus on my dogs, focus on my lifestyle. So I've been working out more. My wife and I are working on a baby. So it's being a data analyst, you get a lot of freedom in your life, but it's all dependent on how self-motivated you are, how self-determined you are, because whether you're working remote or at an office, it's going to be up to you to recognize those gaps in processes and information, and for you to be the one who's thinking ahead proactively of like, what's a solution that I could do for this, or who can I talk to get more eyes on this and see what I'm really understanding here. So I don't know. I love my job. I'm happy that ultimately I found a job that was right for me. And I think for anybody out there who's on that path of I entered this world not really knowing what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be a dentist or doctor, this, that. There's a ton of us out there, and I'm happy to say that I just stumbled, tripped, and fell into a really good place in life, but it certainly did not come without the hard work of every day I want to get somewhere better. So that's my piece of advice. I wish you the best of luck in your careers, and I hope to make another video really soon because I'm incredibly inconsistent, but I really enjoy making these. So yeah, bye. And one more good thing that I wanted to add in relation to creating your own resources on the job is a lot of employees have the mentality that that's not my job, so why should I care? If you create the tools and you create the answers for problems that people aren't even aware are a problem yet, I was like, you are creating your own value. You are creating job security. It's taking ownership of the problems, the solutions, and the tools that no one else will take ownership of. So, yeah, own it.